high voltage, or the channel is called High Voltage. And my name is Lasha. Now, the channel was my idea. However, there we go. That's better. The channel was my idea. However, if it was not for all of the people that have subscribed to this channel and watched and participated. Most people on this channel don't only watch, but they truly participate. When I say participate, let me get this out of the way before we get into the royal family. I just want to explain a little bit about myself, why I started the channel, and why it's a non-donation charity. Real quick every time. This should be the introduction. A surgeon put a hole in my knee, and it wasn't fun. Everything I do right now is impromptu on. So I'm projecting in a way because I didn't feel supported way back then. But until the end, if it wasn't for all of you, we wouldn't be at the monetization. I wouldn't be able to start this non-donation charity without all of you. So this is part 2 of my 10-minute or 9-minute and 57 live, or 9-minute and 57-minute live from early this morning, and it's in reference to the royal family. And I just think that, it's quite unbelievable. So I'm just going to wait for some more people to come before I start rattling on here. Anybody here yet? All right, it doesn't matter if there's anybody here. I did my introduction. I performed my little introduction. No. Okay. I just created a playlist, and it's called August the 25th of 2025. Hello, Evan. Hi, it's very nice to meet you. Thank you for subscribing or not subscribing. If you like anything in reference to what I'm talking about, please like and subscribe. I have to say that because, I'm a YouTube junkie, and I even forget, because I think it's just proper etiquette. Now, I want to try to stay right on track, so maybe all of you can help me, okay? Help the kid out here. If it wasn't for all of you, we wouldn't be at monetization, and this non-donation charity would never be existing. So this 2.5-year goal was a slow, steady, getting to know everybody, raffles, like 3 people that won. Instead of, I sent them the code to the raffle for Amazon. It was an Amazon ticket. And bye, Evan. Thank you for stopping by. And at any rate, I would email the winner the code because I put everybody's name in a hat, like literally everybody's name. And I do it quarter to quarter. So people who comment and so on. And that brings up the algorithm, and it starts a conversation. And I think my manager, Trevor, has taken down comments because some of them have been quite negative, especially when it comes to the dancing. So why I am sticking my mug out here right now, Rose, hello, it's so nice to meet you, is because I really am tired about listening to Meghan Markle. I can't handle it anymore. I'm Canadian. All right, I'm Canadian. You know, we're Canadian, however, my roots are, Ukrainian, Slavic type background. And, I've always looked to the royal family. My grandmother loved the royal family on my mother's side of the family. Everybody loves Kate and William, and everybody just loves to. The word ETAH is such a strong word. I don't even want to spell it forward because it's so negative. I am not a pro-monarchist. You know why? I'll tell you why. You can watch my video. No, you don't have, that sounded so rude, but please, if you're interested in starting with grassroots injustices to get to the big guns like Candace Owens is trying to do, we have to start with our own little mini projects. And my mini little project was trying to stop corruption from being injured by a surgeon, but you can catch that on the third live, like the third latest live. And it's actually not a bad video. I wanted to share the vintage bookworm and Andrew Lowney because I just finished a live that's about 9 minutes long that explains why I am not a pro-monarchist. And it's because they are not relatable. They can try to be relatable as much as possible. I would have been much more interested in Prince Harry telling the truth about what really happened with Mountbatten and why did the crown cover up even that butler that had Diana's secret notes, Paul, but he was freed from the crown, which makes it true. BS. Hello, Ollie. Ollie, Rose, Evan. Thank you for joining. I so appreciate it. The 4 of you that are watching, I beg of you to hit like. Do you know how much this will help the channel? Okay, so I was talking about how Mountbatten was Prince Charles's role model, and he was a PDF. Now, how come Candace Owens can say that on her channel and not get demonetized? But Sean Atwood talks about that all the time, and he can't say the word, he blurps it out. And so does Andrew Gold from Heretics. It must have something to do with the UK, because free speech is not accepted in the UK the way it is in America or Canada. Okay, just figured that out, duh. But anyways, the monarchy, where is Prince William going to take this dynasty in the future? How do we relate to them? How do we relate to Kate as a mother? Can you? Can you? Can you relate to Kate? Well, I don't think you can, because I can relate to her as if though I'm a man. Come on, who can relate to Kate? No way. Kate Middleton was very, very privileged. And there's nothing wrong with that, because when parents work hard, they do it to better the life of their children. But the amount of tax money that went into covering up the injury that I sustained from a surgeon who thought it was a great idea to keep his mouth shut and kept me in a wheelchair for a year, that was so smart and good of him. So I am not a pro-monarchist. I think they're there, and it's not going to change unless, a French Revolution starts and people overthrow the palace. That's the only way the monarchy will ever end, and that's really the only way to bring down the elites. Is to storm the Capitol, which happened. It actually happened. But look at French history. Maria Antoinette, let them eat bread, is the most famous line and the only line that I know. And people want to talk about elites, okay? I get that. I understand that. And we're fascinated by it because we don't understand it. And the reason that people like Diddy and R. Kelly and Ellen and Cassie Ventura and Harvey Weinstein, even though he was a magician, like with that reader, the movie The Reader. I do not believe that that character was a PDF. I think it was just a relationship between a young boy, and it was his first love, and she abandoned him. My whole point is, in order to take down the royal family, everybody in England and Ireland and Canada would have to overthrow the palace. Do you remember that time that a guy got into Queen Elizabeth's room? Why did Queen Elizabeth cover up the fact that Charles's mentor, Mountbatten, was a PDF and he used to hurt children? The royal family has a history of hurting children. And that's what Candace Owens is talking about on her Brigitte Macron. It's not just about her being a man. I don't know if that's true. But it's because of what they do. And it's a dictatorship over there. It really is. I don't know why people say that Justin Trudeau was a dictator. I don't get that at all. But for Donald Trump to call Candace Owens when Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron go to the White House to talk about serious issues like war and people's lives, but let them eat cake. Let me call Candace Owens and say, well, she kind of looks like a woman to me. You didn't even watch the series, Donald. It's about the elites and how the monarchy are part of it. And I think it's disgusting. And Andrew Lowney wrote this book, and I want to share this video, and quite frankly, I don't care if I get a copyright because it's a YouTube channel that I'm subscribed to. I've already watched the video, and it's the vintage bookworm, and she's phenomenal, okay? And she interviewed Andrew Lowney. To the Vintage Read show. Okay, wait. The people implicated in what I'm going to share with you today. All right, here we go. And those associated with them will try to convince you that there's nothing new in any of this. Wait a minute. I already liked and watched and commented on this video. Right here. Here we go. I don't know how to edit. So fast forward the parts where I stop.
The threat that Putin holds material on Prince Andrew that could completely destroy him, and material so damaging that it could end the monarchy. Welcome, Andrew, and congratulations on your book. I think that you have exceeded expectations with this book, and it does not disappoint.
Oh, well, it's very kind of you, because I know you know a lot about the subject. Yes, it's been exciting. It means...
Entitled. Okay. I have to, I'm going to show clips of this, but I can't, well, I don't want to get a copyright, but I want you to hear in Andrew's words, not me paraphrasing. And before I go on about this, I would like to recommend a movie to everybody. It's called Truth, and it stars Cate Blanchett, which all of you youngsters won't know who she is, and Robert Redford. And oh God, I just forgot the name of it. So forget it. Let's just go straight into Andrew Lowney. He had to go through court to get sealed documents that were over 100 years old about Mountbatten's classified notes and diaries. Well, if the monarchy don't want people to know anything, then don't write it down. Lies don't last. Like, people are so daft. Like, there's lies and white lies, and we all lie by accident, sometimes purposeful, sometimes to save face. People lie mostly to avoid humiliation. Okay. Listen to Andrew Lowney, honestly. Let me shut my yap. Hang on. See, I need to edit. These are the parts where, okay, ready? All right, I'm ready.
The reaction that it's had.
It must be hard to let your baby out into the world, is it?
She means
well,
a
I'm still
book.
keeping the files open. I'm hoping people will get in touch with new stories. There will be an updated paperback. But yeah, it is hard because clearly there
my
are lots
foot's
of
caught.
research trails that I still haven't been able to pin down. Lots of
Shoot,
stories
my
that
foot's
actually I
caught.
was exploring and have I've been able to find are
All
not
right,
true.
there.
So yeah, the research goes on.
So,
So
yeah.
it's a slightly strange thing
I have a
because I'm
better
talking
idea.
about
I have a
one
better
version
idea.
of the book when I'm keep
Wait.
finding new things.
Oh, that's exciting. I think you proved the premise of your argument that the Duke and Duchess of York very definitely leveraged their very privileged position as royals for personal gain. But you make a darker assertion in the introduction of the book where you say it was with the connivance of the palace. Now, I don't want you to go into too much detail because I'm going to delve into this later in the interview. But in general terms, what did you mean by that?
Well, I mean, I think the palace, and by that I mean the advisors and indeed members of the royal family, knew exactly what was going on. The rule seems to be that
I just thought of something. Do you think that the royal family could be using Harry and Meghan as a distraction to avoid this book coming and all of the private meetings that have been going on and so forth about Andrew Lowney writing this book about Andrew? Because a lot of times the government, I need to do more history in how the governments are even formed. Okay. All right. Yeah, okay, let's continue here. I will get a copyright, but you know what? That's okay. I really want to watch this.
As long as you're not caught, it's fine, and then we'll do some damage limitation. I know that there were complaints for him, particularly a special representative made by senior diplomats to the royal family and to the courtiers, and nothing was done. I mean, I think I could.
Senior members of the royal family and heads of state, did he say? And then he said the courtiers. The courtiers weren't afraid to come out about Meghan Markle. They were afraid to come out against the non-disclosure agreements that they filed because the royal family has so much power. In my opinion,
I quote where the Queen
I have no
basically
facts to
told
back
things,
that up.
Basically, it was pretty clear that she wasn't going to do anything about it. And I think I have a caption in the book. Every time that he did something terrible, she gave him another honour. Her son could do no wrong. So I'm afraid that it goes right back to the Queen.
Something about Mary.
A lot of these dodgy financial deals that he was doing.
That's right. He was okay. You know what? You know why he was probably interacting with Jeffrey Epstein? I want to buy this book and read it. Oh, that's a really nice hairdo, Lasha. That is super. Okay. You know what? I just forgot what I was going to say.
To Windsor and accept.
Oh, the Queen. Yeah, she kept rewarding a son who was abusing women. You don't think that like, I honest to goodness just thought right now, maybe Harry and Meghan, I don't think that they left on their own. I think they were asked to go to the US to do some kind of project. I really do. And not only because the royal grift backed up everything by evidence, and Emma from TNT UK backed everything up by evidence. Just my intuition said that, just through seeing. And yeah. Okay, here we go.
Accepted gifts from them, knowing full well what was going on. And I even had people in intelligence reporting.
How could the Queen do that?
To private secretaries, and being told by the private secretaries it's all a waste of time. So I'm afraid this rot, this financial corruption, goes to the heart of the royal family. It's not going to.
That's what I was going to say. Prince Andrew was the head of the treasury, and he did a lot of diplomatic financial deals with politicians, heads of state, I guess heads of state would be people in parliament or Congress or whichever country you live in. I'm not educated on politics. I'm just, to me, it's nothing but a fantastical stage show. And I really don't think it matters who you vote for. I truly believe that in the US, and I think that's why maybe Trump knows a little more than we give him credit for knowing. For people that I know, and from listening to Mary Trump, Donald Trump, how did I go from this pervert to that pervert? There's just so many perverts. But Epstein, that's why, that would be the reason and a motive for Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein to have a relationship. And when he said that he had to go there and talk to Jeffrey to break up a friendship, I believe that part. He had to tell Jeffrey, we can't do business anymore. I don't think it was about the girls alone. And I also think that Andrew knew he was blackmailed. Bill Gates, Woody Allen, Alan Dershowitz, Bill Clinton, CEOs and millionaires that we've probably never heard of are on that list. And, you know, if peddling, I mean, this whole world is a strip stage. This whole world is nothing but a big show. Just like me trying to share my opinion right now is nothing but a show. But I'm not trying to show anything. I'm just trying to share my opinion. That's why the media works with the Royal Rotary. It's all about money and secrecy. But it takes a lot of people to make a conspiracy real. A lot of people need to keep their mouths shut. And who can do that, really? Anyways, Donald Trump. The fact that this is what is really concerning about the royal family and about PDFs and about Andrew Lowney and Donald Trump and Diddy and all of these people, and I'm getting off track because my head is overjuiced with information. And this is what causes people stress. We are so far away from our original roots of where we should be. It's absolutely an abomination. But Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew, definitely looking back at that interview, I don't think he was lying about not regretting meeting him. He was lying about the girl, but I don't think he was lying about the fact. I think his association scared him more with Epstein. But then the Queen, I think she used her favorite son as a scapegoat to hide all of the rest of the unsavory behavior of these royals in the past. And it's been going on since the dawn of time. It's still going on. And Andrew Lowney had to go to court to get these released. So anyways, here's some more.
Be enough to cut off one limb.
I don't know why
There
Bill
needs to be a proper
Clinton,
examination, proper
how he
inquiry,
gets away with all of
inquiry
this.
into his time as special representative. I'm arguing, actually, as MPs did 20 years ago, that this, and I think the royal family need to do some very serious thinking about how they operate.
Oh yeah, that's what I said.
questions
What is
later on.
Prince
Do you
William going to
think that
do?
The National Crime Authority should actually look into this.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
You've already answered that one.
Not just Andrew, I think there is a
100%.
case against Sarah Ferguson as well.
I'm really shocked about that, about the Queen. I guess a lot of people watching this interview will be. Do you think that there is any sort of justification in that it was her son and that she was acting as a mother rather than a monarch?
Well, I know it's not going to make me popular with your viewers, what I say, but as you know, I always say what I find. I don't think there's any excuse. I mean,
No,
of
it's
course, there are
not.
mothers who give their sons into the police if they've committed
That's
a crime.
right. That's right.
I think she could have shut him down many years earlier. I mean, he spent 10 years as special envoy, and these reports were coming in within months. So she could have actually.
She did it to save her own face. She was a shrewd businesswoman. People always think that people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s are nice old people. Maybe when we get older, sorry, I like to be comfortable. In my experience working with people that are older, the only thing that changes when we get older is, I know for me, my mind exploded during this year because of a situation, and I lost my cool. And I was so angry. But at the heart of anger is fear. And human beings are capable of doing anything. What is the one thing that people hate is being humiliated. What is the one reason people keep secrets? They don't want to be humiliated and they want to save face. So I think the Queen, in my opinion, was a very shrewd woman. However, listen, we are all like onions. This is why I call everybody raps. Andrew Gold used to call people his hedgehogs. No, this is a rap community, welcoming, respecting aspects of people's societies, but these societies need to go away.
Done the damage limitation much earlier. She's not here to see the fallout. But, and maybe there wouldn't have been fallout. I mean, the government is still preventing me from seeing any of the files on Andrew for this period, using every excuse.
The Treasury is talking about the money.
And again, I'm calling for those files to be released as they should be under the Public Records Act. But I'm afraid, no, the Queen has, a lot to answer for. She isn't here to answer it. And the King himself knew. And the King had no illusions about his brother. He was the one who wanted to keep him in the Navy and keep him out of mischief and didn't want him to become special representative. So, I mean, this was, as school friends said to me, Andrew was an accident waiting to happen. And that's been the story all through his life. He should have been controlled much more. And he was just allowed to do what he wanted. And indeed, as special representative, the diplomats talk about him and his wife just turning up and expecting them to lay on things for them and basically do some networking for them. The thing is deeply, deeply.
If I were to die tomorrow, this is what I wish all diabetics knew about insulin resistance. This is what a body looks like.
Corrupt.
I want to talk about the Epstein revelations.
Okay, you see how this is all connected? Sorry, I'm projecting. Lasha, do you see how this is all connected? Oh, the movie I was going to say for you to watch is called Truth. And it's about journalism and how there was a prediction made in that Dan Rathers, and it's about Dan Rathers and Mary Maples, and they wrote a piece on George W. Bush, and George W. Bush evaded Vietnam because he was privileged. And it was a real, Elizabeth Moss was in it from The Handmaid's Tale, and Robert Redford played Don Rathers, Kate Blanchett played Mary Maples, Dennis Quaid was in it, and there's a part at the end of the movie where it was just before the 24-hour news cycle, and they were saying, one day, just like this, people are going to be talking about what somebody else did. And that's what people do on YouTube. They piggyback off of each other. Everybody on the internet's talking about Macron, but before I was even thinking about anything, the live that I just did was just an idea and a thought for a future video, just like this live is my thoughts for future videos, okay? And what Andrew Lowney is saying is so true about the Queen. They are no example for anybody. They're corrupt. And the manager on this channel, Trevor, I've got to call him, but I think he's at drama class today. All right, and I hope that you saw the video with Trevor, and please subscribe to Trevor's Infinite Horizons, okay? Anyways, back to Mountbatten and this book. And I want to read this book, and I also want to read Chaos, but I'm sick of hearing about MK Ultra. Oh, and then Sean Atwood. Okay, Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, let's talk about Jeffrey. No, let me tell you something that I heard on Sean Atwood's channel. This is the source of the information. This girl came out on TikTok claiming to be Jeffrey Epstein's niece, which would mean it would have to be Mark Epstein's daughter, because I don't think they had any other siblings, right? And she was claimed that she was microdosed CM and acidity, microdosed. And it reminded me of True Detective from 2012. And I thought, is she making this up? And then she was talking about how his face turned into a reptile, and Sandra Ranson said that too. So maybe the drugs do that, right? Epstein, creepy. But there has got to be something so disgusting and so nefarious and so diabolical. And people want to know the truth. And Donald Trump is putting it off and off and off and off. Like, now I understand what the MAGA group is. Oh boy, when Candace Owens was called stupid. Oh, and listen, and what sitting president phones a podcaster about Bridget and Emmanuel Macron because Candace Owens did a series about becoming Brigitte based on a book a French journalist wrote. It wasn't even her original idea. And she believes it. I don't care if she's a woman or a man, but why would they go to such lengths to bullshit about it? And there are creepy PDFs. But this Epstein sister, and then I actually thought, my gut feeling, when I saw that picture of Epstein on the gurney, I swear to you, he's still alive. That was my initial gut feeling. He's probably not now with his sleep apnea, and he's probably, but there's something. I bet you all of those criminals like Elizabeth Holmes and Ghislaine Maxwell, they go under a tunnel into a beautiful mansion. Oh yeah, I'd believe anything right now. When I think about what happened to my leg, and a surgeon didn't say anything, and he broke my knee and he didn't say anything. Oh my God. It's so wrong. And what I did on this channel is I was trying to beat a little bit of corruption in my community, and it doesn't work because people really don't care. And I don't understand why people don't care. I don't get it. Hey, anyway, we all make a lot of mistakes in our life, and I get all of that, and we're all onions, and sometimes when you get to the core of the onion, the truth doesn't die,
Now, your version of events does not meld with the recent DOJ and FBI memo that was recently released. Now, you knew what you had. You knew what you were about to publish. So what was your reaction to that memo?
Well, I mean, there have been several memos. One memo saying they had a lot of stuff and they were going to release it. The next memo saying there's nothing on Donald Trump here. And we know that people from the FBI have been paid to go through the material. I think there are 100,000 mentions of Trump in the Epstein material to take it out. So that must have been a big job. So, I mean, there's no doubt that Trump was deeply involved with Epstein. And he's just trying to, as he often does, trying to deflect the blame. But it looks so obvious what he's doing. That I don't think anyone is taken in. And, people will begin to emerge that will talk about the relation.
Profusely.
Yeah, so I think the monarchy should be abolished.
I thought that was wonderful. That's in there. Do you think that will change people's thoughts about that story?
Well, I hope so. I mean, we've had Victoria turn up, and she's constantly turning up. There's a whole campaign of people who are trying to discredit Virginia Giuffre, which I think is pretty appalling. And I hope I nailed to rest all the lies about the so-called fake photo of Andrew and Giuffre. It's pretty clear, talking to experts, that this was a genuine photograph that couldn't possibly have been faked.
We know that.
And the evidence is there, and I think the fact that the point Wendy Berry makes that point, which you talk about, how this very unaffected, rather sweet girl suddenly gets these airs and graces, and enjoys the lifestyle and is very demanding of her staff. But I agree. I mean, I'm amazed that her staff have been so loyal to her, because she treats them appallingly. Kate Waddington, who is her long-term friend and PR person, she bad-mouths. If you talk to people, she's always bad-mouthing Kate Waddington. And Kate Waddington went for years without being paid, and has stood by her, and I think they have godchildren in common. It's extraordinary. She thinks she can get away with that. And I just wish people actually, maybe they will now, will start telling her to, give her a few home truths about how she behaves to people. But I agree, it's enough. When Hartmore was wound up, people only got 25% of the monies. It's I'm afraid that it is a syndrome with lots of people. The business goes bust.
You've had researching this book. You've been fighting for years.
Yeah, okay, this is
trying to combat the York's heavily curated narrative. What do you think is the hardest part? What's the worst thing you've had to endure?
Well, I think it's disappointing when you feel you're battling alone. It would be nice if
okay,
if
I can't show anymore. That's the vintage bookworm. You can watch the entirety of the video there. I guess my whole point really is, even though my thoughts are all over the place, and it's okay, because I'll take these thoughts and I'll make a proper video. Thank you for the 6 likes. I really appreciate that. And just so you know what I'm doing next on this channel, I'm reading. I decided to keep my theme central to what I like to do, and I'll be reading books. So I said the other day, if anybody has any suggestions, it would be greatly appreciated. And I want to say thank you to Evan Champagne. You don't have to apologize for leaving. Thank you to Rosema, and thank you to Ollie. Hi, Jamaze. Oh, thank you, Ollie. Thank you, Ollie. Hi, Stevie. I didn't even see you there. I apologize. Trevor, there you were. I didn't even see you down there. Okay, I need to edit this video and all of that. And Trevor, have you been deleting comments? Like negative comments about my dancing? It's okay, you can leave them up. I promise my feelings won't get hurt. My phone is charged, and let me call you. I'm leaving. Oh, I've got to leave to go swimming. Never mind, I'm gonna call you, and just don't give me 5 minutes to do this video, okay?